Hey everyone, this is another weekly look into the Near Legion Build City partnership. Um, we've been doing this for three or 4 weeks now, um, and every week we kind of continue to progress on establishing a method to build out actual products using the Ironclaw and Near AI ecosystem. A bit of a recap on myself and what our relationship looks like with Near Legion. Um, I'm Tony Singh. I'm an electrical engineer by trade, and I've founded Build City a few years ago, around end of 23, early 24, with the intention that people have capabilities that they want to express, capabilities and sorry, sorry, I got distracted. Is that enough? Nov, how you doing?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm just giving a bit of context on Bill City and our process in developing this whole thing. We created Bill City because we saw that there was a need for a community of people that can collaborate together and build the things that they're looking to actually build in a manner that's effective and in a way that's sustainable for them, right? So we saw that desire and that need here in New York a number of years ago, and we were able to execute on that and test that thesis through a number of regular meetup events, workshops, boot camps, and one in particular was the one that kind of accelerated this whole thing. It was a boot camp at the end of 2024, where a number of great projects were developed, all agentic based, and we even had one project that went on to get incubated by Coinbase. So that was the kind of precipice that led us to realize that this thing works. And if it was done in a way that was systematic and at scale, that we can have some outcomes. That's where our relationship with Near started to really thrive. We went to Bangkok back also in 2024, met with Rhyme, uh, did Olympic Village, and we came to realize that there was a lot of synergy. And
Hello.
that's when, hey, Jill, how's it going? I'm just giving a bit of a recap on Bill City, Near Legion, and I'll make sure I introduce everyone and go into the topics of discussion today. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
absolutely.
Thanks for joining, by the way.
Thank
um,
you
so
for
that's when the
having me.
synergy with Near really started. Um, So we understood the desire from Rhyme and Near Legion to create this um, like node city node infrastructure across the world, and we are one of the kind of leads here in New York. We are the second city node, and we kind of like are executing this plan through both in-person events as well as these virtual live streams. Um, a bit of a recap on what we're doing with these streams for now. Um, Essentially, we we are working with a mortgage analyst. She might not join today. She seemed a bit tired this morning, so she might not come on. Um, so she came to us with explaining her industry and some of the challenges that she sees. Right. Primarily around being able to get leads that are qualified for mortgages, and as well as just the general coordination with them. Right, it can become cumbersome if you have so many different channels and you have no real way of understanding whether or not a lead is genuine, whether or not they have the required markers for a successful applicant, right? And being able to communicate with them is also, quite cumbersome. So she outlined a couple of these issues to us. We were able to, let me share my screen. We were able to create this document, um, where we outlined a couple of the different main kind of parts that are needed for a solution for Pooja and for her industry. And then we
Wait,
kind of,
I don't see your screen.
oh, okay. It's a little
Yeah,
challenging doing all this myself.
yeah.
Now we see. Yes.
Now we see now.
Cool. So we outlined a couple of phases that can lead towards actual MVP that we promised to deliver by August 29th. So she'll definitely be here on that day to see this. And essentially the phases start with a core pipeline, enrichment and automation, outreach drafting, and an MVP polish. This past week we worked on phase one. That started as a live build on last Saturday, and we can spend a bit of time today looking at that phase, critiquing it, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and establishing what would phase two look like for this development. One thing before I continue, I realized that I can also share a bit of the schedule for today. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because we're doing something a bit different. Obviously, part one, opening remarks, catch up. We're kind of doing that now. Recapping what's happened last week and show what's been built so far. We're kind of leaning into that. I'll show the website. I'll show kind of how it was built out, and we'll go through it a bit. Then we'll collect some feedback and plan for the next phase of development. And we have a special guest actually today. She goes by Jilt.
I'm Laura, but yes, I go by Jilt.
Hey Jilt, how's it going? She has some product design materials, which include lectures and a video game as well. Essentially, based off of my understanding, this hasn't been fully fleshed out just yet and integrated with Iron Club, but I know it's trending in that direction. So we can spend a bit of time looking at what's already there. Jilt, you can kind of like explain a bit of like what you envision for it to be, and
Yep.
I have my own thoughts as well, just off of the little bit I've seen so far. I think it looks great, and I think there's a lot of synergy with it. But yeah, you can kind of go into it in some time. If you want, you can intro yourself now a bit. Just explain what you're working on.
I'm a product designer teacher. I've been a product designer teacher for years here in Italy, and actually, it's a couple of years that I don't teach anymore. This was my last lesson, and they didn't really intend me to do a lesson about AI. That's probably the reason why it was my last lesson. But it was very exciting, and it's kind of long because it's 4 hours of lesson. But it was very exciting, and in particular the last project, which is the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting and it's very inspiring, and it was fun to see the students after 4 hours of lesson to getting so excited about the project. Actually, the lesson has been revisited because there's a lot of new stuff in the last 2 years. But it came out from a meeting that I had this summer with a young guy here in Modena. And I would love to set up a laboratory, something local here in Italy, where I live, in the little town that I live in, like you are doing in New York. So this is just a first step. And the young guy that asked me for this lesson is a good person, and I know there's a lot of people that that would be interested. So that's the reason why I wanna iterate on it. And yeah, it's here for inspiration. Okay, nothing
No,
more.
that's fantastic. I'm already inspired, and I have a number of thoughts.
Okay, thank you.
So I know this is going to derail the conversation a bit, but when I get excited, I get excited.
Yeah, don't worry.
Can this lesson be split up into 4? So each week we could kind of go through it a bit. What do you think?
I think it would be better because I can go through it and now explaining the whole structure of it. But if we go deep into it, it's better. While we do it today, we just do an overview and we watch because there's also a challenge about Iron Claw. So it's nice to have, an overview of what Iron Claw is about, which is the last part of the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we should definitely do 4 lessons in depth with all the details. In particular, the workflows are very interesting, and I couldn't really go deep into them, into the examples, etc. And if we get some examples of workflows, it's very empowering for people.
Okay, very interesting.
Could be very empowering. Yeah.
And did you ever consider or are you considering kind of making a certificate kind of program for this? Like perhaps if there was if the direction was going towards Ironclaw and Near AI, that if you went through these lessons, or if it was split into 4 parts or whatever it may be, that you would get some type of certificate that's on chain and says that you understand this enough that you're certified to be an Ironclaw specialist or something.
It would be nice. I know that Ilya would appreciate that, and I think it would be good for people because this to learn these things is very empowering, but to learn them without a boundary, like a privacy boundary, like Ironclaw does, it could be dangerous. And this is something that I've been chatting about with my friends here, developers here. That's why I added Ironclaw actually, because it's important to let people know that using technology without caring for the risks is not worth it.
For sure.
And so, having a certification could be not only empowering for people, but could be good that it could mean to spread good information and to really have some people that can do good stuff in a good way. And this is more than just empowering. This is creating professionals. Okay, so
it also gives confidence and kind of a reason for you to keep showing up, right? Especially as we continue to do these in-person events. One of the challenges that someone comes and they may not come the next time because they don't kind of know what the next step is, right? But if you were to create something structured which says, okay, you come the first time, you might be intimidated, but you can work towards understanding this enough that you feel a bit confident that you can use it. And if you say you come in person a few times and that's how you'll develop, your confidence amongst us and get that certificate, they're more likely to come around and actually build things, right? Build things that they want to build, and build things of substance and in a way that's privacy focused and where they understand this framework.
Yeah, it's built that way, the lesson to be easy at the start and difficult at the end, but more exciting at the end because there is the video game, and you already read the video game. It's a very nice project. So yeah,
I'm excited excited to see.
And yeah, it's also I don't know if I told you, but the last project, which is the video game, it's all technology that already exists. So
Okay.
it's kind of cool to know that you are building a video game, but it's a technology that we already have. So virtually, you're building something that can be done. Okay.
Interesting. Well, that's like a place that you really want to start, right? Like with things that already exist.
Yeah, and also it's a demonstration that actually our most playful fantasies can be more grounded than we think, and this is something very important for product design, because product design goes as these two tracks that go hand in hand, which is the creative track and the technical track, and everyone is creative. Okay, so you need to merge both of the instances, the creative part and the technical part. And with a video game, it's a good way of doing that.
Almost like taking your creativity and executing it in a systematic way, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
kind of, exactly. And the two tracks need to be together, need to come hand in hand, and there's no way that someone's. I have faced many students that have told me I'm not a creative person, but every one of us has something creative inside. You just need to bring it out.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I love the focus on creativity. That always gets me excited. I think I think I always love to mess around with my creativity, and then it's nice to do it in a grounded way. Definitely.
Yeah.
So just to shift a bit towards what we've been working on so far.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool. So, Nav, you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I kind of broke up this explanation into parts, and the first one is like what we're building, why we're building it, and what the first phase was, right? To go back, we were working with Pooja, a mortgage broker, and she walked through some of the biggest pain points she sees in her industry, right? Focusing on finding leads, organizing the leads from different channels, and then qualifying the potential borrow leads, right? Based off of some metrics to see whether or not they can even qualify to actually work with her and be a successful applicant. We obviously shouldn't tackle the entire issue at once. So we broke it down into phases. What we built in phase one was a manual browser intake lead, a debt to income calculation, down payment calculation, and rule-based lead prioritization. So hot, warm, cold, not ready, based off of like certain metrics of whether or not this candidate is a good lead or not a good lead. Explaining why that lead received that score, the next recommended action for the broker, broker review and design logic, and then the audit trail of how these decisions were made, which is important for us to understand. And then the dashboard and lead management, and then the fictional demo data. We're starting with fictional data, not using anything real. We'll obviously, when the MVP is built out, we can can speak about like real data and how to manage that data in a privacy focused way. But for now, it's all fictional data. This is the basic flow. You enter the lead, you calculate it, you generate a score, you have a recommended next action, broker reviews, and then the history is preserved of the entire thing. So the setup we use to build it, right? We have Ironclaw as the main agent environment. Jill, you're not going to be happy about this, but instead of using private inferencing, we're using Codex for this first phase of things. So inside of Ironclaw, we used OpenAI Codex model for inferencing. This was the coding intelligence, understanding what we wanted, writing code, debugging issues, and deciding what needed to change. I think in the development of things, because we're not necessarily, or are not using anything privacy related, I found it to be easy to use Codex at this point of time.
I think Codex it's a good tool, a very good tool. And Ironclaw has many levels that you can use it. So
For sure, Ironclaw still has ways to maintain privacy in several levels, as you stated.
yeah.
And then some of the tools. So we Ironclaw has access to workspace files, shell commands, GitHub Actions, and then the web tools. We connected GitHub directly to Ironclaw. It did everything in terms of management of the GitHub files. Created the repo, created the development branches, wrote the files, committed the changes, pushed the code, created pull requests. And then we did automated testing. We did 32 different tests, checking things like the debt to income calculations, scoring, validation, storage, audit events, broker decisions, dashboard calculations, and demo data behavior. And then we connected the GitHub repository to Vercel and deployed it. So that was the only manual part of this. Everything else was handled by Ironclaw. And the web interface is so good. Jill, I'm not sure if you've seen the new Ironclaw web interface, Ironclaw 1.0.
I've studied the documentation, but I never used it. I didn't use it yet.
It's so good. Well, I guess the point of reference would be how version 0 was like. It's a huge step up.
Okay.
Maybe I can just show it.
Yeah. Why not?
Drone on the details of how this was built entirely. But yeah, this is how the interface looks, and it's so much easier to interact with Ironclaw in this
We
way.
don't see it, Tony.
You're not seeing it. Yeah.
Sorry
Okay.
about
It's coming up. It's coming up now. Yeah, we can see now.
Perfect. It's so much easier to work with Ironclaw in this way. Initially, we were using the terminal last week from an older version of Ironclaw, and this is significantly better. So I can't see the. So this basically, all I really did was I made sure it was connected to Codex, which was a simple process, and I connected it to my personal GitHub. And then I told it to create a repo and everything else needed for me to essentially build this entire thing out, test the different functions. And finally, when everything was working after testing, we were able to launch it onto Vercel entirely from this web interface. So significant step up from the past versions. And sharing a bit on the So it was the main programming language was TypeScript. We also use React for the interactive user interface. Next.js was the web application framework, and then Tailwind CSS, and then VTest for the testing. Now we can go a bit into the site itself, and mind you, take into account that the site, the site's super, I wouldn't say rough, but definitely does need some work.
I've
We're
seen
not
you
able to see.
open
Yeah, we don't see your screen.
Yeah, I'm sharing now.
Yep.
I've seen you have opened like a request, a bounty for the interface, didn't you?
Yeah. So on Near Builders, actually, we posted this project, and really anyone can propose any type of solution that they're looking to propose. So it can either be that they can contribute in terms of how the UI looks, or they can propose their whole solution for the problem that Pooja identified. So they can contribute in however way that they're looking to contribute. And we welcome people to build out something and to come on these live streams, or just come on and propose ideas and we can execute them. Really, like it's open-ended how one can contribute. The goal is just to have at least one working MVP by August 29th. But we're open to having a number of them and showing it to Pooja and seeing what clicks the most for her as we move forward. So a few different workflows that are possible in this. End goal being that we create a structured way of doing these things, and we can continue iterating on other ideas that are proposed to us as well. I hope I answered your question, Jill.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I don't know. I think last year I was in this university meeting, and they were speaking about AI, and they were saying that basically it will be useful for managing portfolios, investment portfolios, and for deciding how to assign lending for lending money, like this one, to audit the audit trail.
The audit trail of sending money, you said?
Yeah, to lend, to
Okay.
give money, to understand who's qualified to have the money and who doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to create or rather sustain that information, because you want to understand how these decisions are made, and based off of that, you could do a number of things. But at the base, base idea is that you want to maintain that audit trail of things. So just going through this briefly, you have the main dashboard. You have a compliance notice that says the tool provides preliminary lead priority and DTI estimates only. Obviously, for compliance purposes, it does not approve loans, determine mortgage eligibility, issue pre-approvals, or automatically contact leads. You always want to make sure that the broker is there to review, and they can establish like what the requirements would be for these people beyond what's determined here as well. I'll probably remove this fictional demo workspace for Pooja. I think we want to make this as close as possible to what she'd actually use. I realize that these buttons don't work properly. It's highlighting both at the same time, the new lead and the leads as well. So that's something that we can fix for the next phase. Although the logic behind the buttons do work fine. And then this is fictional demo dashboard. It's a mortgage lead qualification dashboard. So this is browser local dashboard for fictional mortgage lead priority records. Counts are demo only and require broker review before any real world action. This is just demo data for walkthroughs. So we can load demo data into this. Sorry, let me refresh this. Okay. All right, so demo loads are already loaded. No duplicates were added. It shows how many leads we have here. We have 5 leads. All of them are pending broker review. And then it just has like these assignments per lead. You have hot, warm, cold, not ready, and one that requires manual review. And then you have each one of these respective leads here. We can open up one of these. Let's open up a hot one. Okay. So here it decided to describe this lead as hot. It gave it a score of 90. The debt to income ratio is 27%. And then the person would be putting down a 20% down payment towards the mortgage itself. And then it goes into the explanation of the score, shows the proposed monthly housing expense of $2,400, the reoccurring monthly debt of $300, and then it also gives a recommended broker action, which is pretty helpful. It says prioritize broker review and confirm documentation before any borrower facing next step, which is general like information that you should make sure that you're confirming the documentation. But maybe this is another thing that we can work on how to make this more helpful for the broker. Maybe there's other things that Buja can contribute as well from this end of things. And then it just shows the general borrower information, shows the property and income, debt and notes, and then housing expense. And then a bit of the auditing history is also provided at the end. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have this per lead. And then there's a flow for new leads as well. Obviously, we need to understand where these leads are coming from. For this first phase, you just have this kind of you have this tab that people can manually enter information on, or it can be interacted in other ways as well. But other flows need to be developed as well, like maybe a WhatsApp integration, and then interacting with the web in different ways, scraping information. And then finally, the audit trail of things. Obviously, for us to understand how these decisions were made, and to be able to follow the flow of things as it goes. So this is a general sense of what Ironclaw and we built so far. The main kind of successes with this was that we were able to completely build out something conversationally with Ironclaw and deploy it, and all functions work, right? All the logic works. We're able to create new leads, and it's generating scores and setting a priority for these leads. So initial phase 1's complete. Any kind of questions or suggestions, or if you guys want to know a bit more, I'm open to hear. Nov, if you have any suggestions for this.
Yeah, yes, I do. Raj was saying something on the chat. Raj, do you want to share what you meant by kilo code?
No, no, I was just saying that he was mentioning, right, Tony? Hi, Tony. Hi,
Hey, how's it
everyone.
going, Raj?
Yeah, no, you were mentioning that you built it with Codex, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, you can also, like, I was also, up until now, I was using the API keys with Iron Claw, right? But there is also an extension in VS Code called Kilo Code where you can just plug in your API keys and you can use the Near AI API key to build this.
Okay. And you've used that flow?
I have used it for building projects and just trying it out.
Okay. How do you like it?
And so you're using VS Code.
Yeah, yeah, we can use it in VS Code. You want me to show it?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it's okay. I believe you.
No, I'm open to see it actually. Anyways, these sessions are supposed to be an exchange of ideas, so it's okay if we hop around a bit.
Yeah,
It's okay.
just a minute.
Raj, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen.
Yeah, yeah, just a minute. Share screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we're seeing infinite window right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there was this extension which is like kilo code, right? So this is what I have been using, and if you actually look at the near docs, right? So this is where it actually suggests you to like use the near AI, right? Like you have this base URL, you have your API key, and then you have your models, right? So I actually went here, and this is all the things you actually need to plug in so to make this work. So like once you have installed it, right, I just get a tab here where I can just work with the. So for example, if I can just ask it like for I'm using the DeepSeek V4 Flash here right now. I can just ask what this repo is about. So basically, what I was building was you can hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was building was that uh, we were actually doing meetups for Mumbai, right?
Hmm.
Do you know about the Mumbai meetups
I
near
do.
AI?
I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. So we wanted to do something hands-on for students, right? So we kind of covered uh, spinning up iron claw, right? But then we wanted something, and I was just referring to the docs, and I just found out that we can build our custom tools, right? Like uh, we have different tools, right? For but what if you want to build your custom tool, correct? So this was one of the exercises that we were gonna do, is like basically building a Rust tool and installing it in like Iron Claw. So, for example, whenever I need to ask my Iron Claw what's the weather in like Ho Chi Minh City, right? So it might guess, right, or it might give an incorrect weather, right? But this time it will just call the tool which we have built, and it will use that tool to get you the correct weather. Or imagine like you need to do some calculations, right? This is like the specific example, right? Like AI models can basically hallucinate sometimes, right, with floating point arithmetic, right? So what if you built it a tool that can calculate it for you and give you a correct answer rather than guessing it around?
Hmm.
So this is like what I was building. And like, I mean, it's also, it's not like a codex like interface. Like some people are, comfortable with codex, but this is more like an in code editor. But it's the same experience, right? With all the
Right.
models that are available in the near AI cloud, it's pretty good.
Mhm.
It's pretty good, and it's still very
What model
conversational.
did you use?
I'm using DeepSeek V4 Flash. It's actually too good. I'm
Has it
using
worked,
DeepSeek.
has it worked consistently for you?
Yeah, it's good enough. Like I mean, I have used DeepSeek from the near AI cloud, and I mean, it's the same thing, right? Almost. So uh, I would say it's better than Gemini models I have used, and even sometimes it compares to, right, GPT. To be honest,
Hmm. Interesting.
like for the cost of, Gemini model, I feel it gives you the performance of a GPT model.
No, I don't like Gemini. Gemini. I. It's not a good model for me, but
With Gemini, what happens is, like it just sometimes, it does things you don't instruct him.
Like on its own, basically.
Yeah, like I have worked with repositories where, I just said that, okay, like let's commit, let's make this change, right? But what it will do is it will go on and just commit the changes and push the changes, and once it just tried to hard reset from the main repo, and I'm like, I didn't even say you to do a hard reset.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And that too on not my repo, on the my repo was a fork. It was doing a reset on the main repo.
Oh my God.
So
That's
at least,
frustrating. That's incredibly frustrating.
yeah, so at least DeepSeek doesn't do that. It you know
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I gotta look into that a bit more and why it does that.
it's
Yeah,
something that it's in my lesson too, because sometimes you really need to give constraints to the model in the prompt. And this happens not only with Gemini, also with ChatGPT. Some ChatGPT, in particular the last ones, they are very stubborn. So when they decide that you are doing something and they know what you are doing, they don't ask, they just go on. So
yeah.
using constraints in
What I have also noticed was, like for even for Gemini models, right? So even if you have those MD files, right? Specific MD files, maybe a PR.md on how to make a specific PR or what instructions to follow, it just
yeah.
sometimes ignores it. And like if I have a doc in my repository where I say it that you need to write tests, right? Or you need to make a PR in this specific format. And if you have been using a chat, right? For example, if you use anti-gravity and you're in a chat and you use a specific model, and if you have been in the conversation for long, it just forgets that it needs to write a test, or the PR should be, in this specific format.
Mm.
So it's not very reliable at some point.
Long context, it's the perfect way to sabotage a project is to use a context that's too long.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, sometimes, in particular, if you have a long context, you really need to, but don't use long context. You start a new conversation, you use your agent.md and you establish the rules in the agent.md. You really need to do that. Sometimes you don't, even if you if you put the constraints in the prompt, if it's not your agent.md, the agent will go rogue. It's very important to have. And in the lesson, I didn't put it in the lesson. I just put it a notice about the constraints. But there's this beautiful tweet by one of the original creators of Claude that is about agents.md, and about context and this idea of automation and how the context needs to be automated. That is, it's very important if you want to have a good relationship with your model, because you can get very angry if the model does a PR on GitHub and it's not the PR that you want them to do.
Yeah, Jill, I think we need your certificate program ASAP. I think the world needs it. I think the community needs it.
We can,
What I have,
yeah, exactly. You see, it's very important to have an established context that you have established before. This way, you start a new conversation. You don't have, because having long context is the perfect way to reduce the performance of a model and to burn tokens. You basically burn tokens and the model doesn't behave. So you need to use the agents file and all the other files that automate like skills, etc., workflows in order to be able to
Set
talk with
instructions.
your model in a constructive way. Sorry?
No, basically set instructions, right? Set repeatable instructions that can reduce that like long
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah. Because the context is not past a certain amount of tokens is not useful. It doesn't work. And yeah, it's one of the creators of Claude that said it, so it's kind of important.
Yeah, definitely good.
I should put it in I should put the screenshot in the lesson, but I didn't. Just put a notice, but I will. I will.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it's still worth it to just give it a look. In the interest of time, I'm just gonna go through the next phase for next week. I think for the entirety of this project, the main thing is to deliver something by August 29th and having Pooja review it, right? And then based off of that, we can start to break it down and understand like what works towards what she needs and what doesn't work. And if it can get to a point where it is satisfactory for her, then it can be shown to other people within her industry as well, and we can continue to get that feedback. I think I definitely want to set up time to deconstruct how the entirety of it was built, to fully understand it and to also show people how it looks to actually create something, understand how it's been created, and to attempt to see where the holes are in the entire flow, so that we don't end up creating a production level app that that ends up causing more problems than solving. Okay, so these phases are subject to change. But here we said in the second phase we would work on enriching the data and automation, enriching the leads using approved public sources, adding scheduled lead processing routines, making scoring rules and configurable, detect and prevent duplicate leads. And also, I think there might be a good potential for WhatsApp integration. So someone would message Pooja on WhatsApp. The Iron Claw asks approved intake questions, creates the lead in the app, runs the scoring workflow, and then sends Pooja a summary for review. Like a very easy, seamless way of doing things. And I know Pooja and other mortgage brokers are always on the go. So this can kind of help them out with things without having to necessarily be confined to a single interface. And then, they might have a process where we set up ads for these brokers and their services. So a person can click an ad, a link, or scans a QR code. It starts WhatsApp chat voluntarily, answers basic questions, lead is added and scored, and then Pooja reviews it. Basically, two different flows, and with the judge being the mortgage broker at the end of whether or not the information is valuable, or if like the lead still isn't one that would be good for application purposes. So this is the general 4-phase approach that we've been working towards. Again, it's subject to change, and we might dedicate one of the weeks just to understand how the entirety of it was built and to see what can be improved upon. But yeah, I think we'll end it here from this project. Was I not sharing my screen the entire time? I wasn't, was I?
No, at the moment I don't see your screen. So
Okay, it's all right. I think just the verbal explanation was fair. Jilt, if you want, you can start to show or explain a bit of what you've been working on. You can show the website, and we can talk about how this can be integrated with IronClaw.
Okay. Let me just see that I am on the website. And yeah, share it on the chat too. Just to be sure that everyone is on the same page. Yes. It's because I've added the routing URL. So yeah, okay. I can share the URL here. There we go.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. There's the Italian version that is linked above, but it's exactly the same. Yeah, the last interface for questioning for there is a coding agent.
Sorry, Jill. Are you sharing your screen right now?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Are you sharing your screen?
Not at the moment. I'm gonna share it in a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me just detach from all the I'm detaching the screen from all the tabs because there's like 20 tabs in my browser. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay. There's the link. I mean, you can follow the link that I put in the chat. And okay, share screen. Okay. Can you see me? Can you see the link?
Yep.
The website. Okay. Okay. Anyways, if you don't see, you can follow up in the link. Yeah, basically, our the lesson is yeah, basically this first line is not wrapped properly. Okay, because I cared for the content each single example, but not for the main line. So yeah, wow. upon an exhibition that was done in, before 2020 by a French artist, French architect, that was studying AI, and the exhibition was at the MoMA in New York. It was interesting because basically what he did was that he explored these new generation architectures that were built for the society after the post-singularity. So when the AI has become autonomous, and post-Anthropocene. So some of these projects are built upon a vision of a future in which the human race is not anymore, we are not alive anymore, just AI is alive. Okay.
That's dark.
So it's kind of exciting to see what this person has imagined. And also this project was built with this engineer from NASA, and is the project of the video game, is the asteroid. And this project was built using, as I said, all technologies that already exist at the moment. So it's interesting to see. And it will be the project that I use to explain Iron Claw. So stay tuned. Today, I'm just going over the projects. Okay, I'm not getting deep into the details because it's a 4 hours lesson, so it's kind of heavy. Basically, we start with this schizoid architecture that I use to let people understand how the model is built, basically. So it's not only using data for the model to learn. The model learns patterns from data. But there's also this algorithm that allows the model to connect data. So the pattern, as we all know, we have this ability. Our mind has this ability that is called pattern recognition. That was the first thing that was studied for AI. There are some libraries that are open source libraries like OpenCV, etc., that are built for pattern recognition on images. Okay. And recognizing patterns allows the model to connect different kinds of data and generate from those structures, from those patterns. A pattern is a structure. And also, the training of the model is a way to refine these patterns in a certain direction in order for the model to be useful for a specific task. The schizoid project is interesting because it's because the person who has created this project is an architect, and this is an architecture, and it's basically it's a building that is built for both human and AI. So there are these spaces, these big spaces, open spaces that you can see here. The walls are not really walls. The open spaces are rooms, like we human know rooms, but are built for AI. So there is this structure that is mutuated from our reality, our human reality, but it should be for AI life, for the AI society, okay, in the future. And this is basically a very general overview how a model is built. Okay. Then the second project is this schizoid, and it's basically, okay, there are images, but at the moment they've been cancelled. I need to put some more images over here. The schizoid is it can be used to explain prompts, some prompting technique, and there are some prompt technique that you probably have already used, but you didn't know that it was a technique. So like the zero simple prompt, and it's not wrapped correctly, but there are some other prompts, like the few shot is with a few attempts, and sometimes I myself I ask the model to give me some options, okay, that corresponds to my requirements, and this is actually the technique is a technique that probably each one of us has used. And that allows us to choose a generation from the model that fits better with our requirements. The check it's a first introduction of planning, and planning is very important for advanced prompting, in particular when we speak with AI, with coding models. And so often we create a plan, and then we use the plan to create an articulated prompt. And so this is an example of a chain of thought prompting. Okay. And yeah, this is just an example. We all have built plans with, I don't know, I use open code, and I have different modes in open code to carry the model, and I'm sure that Claude does the same. Okay. Then, okay, we have some other interesting ways of writing prompts. The tree of thought, it's my favorite, honestly, because it's a way of, yeah, in this case, this is my introduction to Hermes, but it's a way of asking for option, like the second example. And for each option list, you can list the benefits, the risks, etc. It's my favorite way of prompting, for example. Okay, to explore possibilities. And the fact that is listing the benefits and the risks allows me to loop easily once I launch the operation, so I can check, I can set up some checks and allow me to allow the model to assess the work itself. Okay. And yes, this prompt chaining it's very similar to what I just said. And in fact, it's a technique of prompting that I use to introduce the goal loop, which is I know that people now use Hermes to loop. So to launch prompt and to allow the model to check its own work. But the goal command is an easy way to loop in Claude code, and it also in open code that I use, that needs Hermes to be used. Okay, you can loop your with your agent, with your model. You can loop the work without the need of using complex tools like Hermes. Okay. This is the practical rule, is the condition, and this is what we were talking about before. So it's not explained the quality criteria, the stop condition, the boundaries. Okay. If you set boundaries for your tasks, like if you in your agent.md say to the model that in order to make appear on your GitHub, it has to ask you, for example, it cannot make appear without asking you. It will not it will not make the wrong PRs, even if it's Gemini. Okay, so setting up those rules and put it in the agent.md, it's a good way. It will be explained later, but it's a good way to service and to not get angry with your model because it has done things that you didn't ask. Okay. Yeah, the goal loop is. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
We can.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm using the dump vestige to explain loop. I could use it for explaining a lot of other stuff that the models do. Okay, so I decided to use I decided to explain this because I think it's important for people to know that you can loop things even without Hermes. The dump vestige, it's a very nice idea that he had, that this architect had, that I can send you the link. I should put it in the page. I will put it in the page. And yes, the dump vestige is actually an AI that lives after the human species has, I don't know, extinguished. And that lives in the places where there is our waste. I don't know, the dump places. How do you call that in English? In Italy, it's discariche. It's the place where we put our the waste of the big city. Okay.
Sorry, like a garbage dump.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea is of this AI that lives in the garbage dumps and that creates new material from used object, from raw materials, almost decomposed materials, after the human species is no more. So it's useful. This material is useful for the AI ecosystem, but it's not useful for the human species anymore. This is the idea of dump vestige as the artist conceived it. I used it for the loop because what the dump vestige does is to iterate over objects and find new structures that corresponds that are fits the bounds that the AI put itself. So the idea is of creating a loop that has some constraints, has some boundaries, and has some that stops if some conditions are met. If not, it goes on looping. Okay. Basically, what it does, and I should probably put a flow diagram here, is that you write the prompt, and the prompt, it's not the output of the prompt gets evaluated. And you write the constraint of the evaluation, the verification, and the boundaries. And so if the outcome doesn't meet the needs and the boundaries, the output goes back into the model to be reworked upon, okay, relooped upon. So this is the goal command, okay, and it's inside the it's in MS, but it's also inside the Claude Code. Okay, you can personalize it, you can customize it like any other command in Claude Code, like using goal.empty. You can tell it what to do. You can also tell it what to do right when you call it. Okay, you call goal, then you tell you put in the prompt the boundaries, the constraints, and the what is required for the outcome to be a good outcome. Okay, to not be looped again. And I don't know how much time we have left, but the query object is like it's a way of talking about the context. Okay. I'm not into the project as much as the dump vestige, because the dump vestige is actually a very fascinating project. But yeah, the query object is basically a project. It's the idea of an AI that changes based on the context and allows me to speak about the tokens. What is the tokens? How much tokens we consume, but we don't know what a token is, and a token is like a single unit of meaning. Okay, so the whole prompt gets digested by the model. How do you call it? Gets understood by the model after it splits it into single units of meaning. So, and each unit is a token. And there is also this idea of prediction of the next token, which is actually a practice of the models. It's like the pattern recognition, as I said before. They recognize patterns and then they try to predict the next what the next request will be, and often we find ourselves after the model has given us an output, it will tell you what you're gonna ask next, what you can ask next, and this is a prediction. That is a prediction. Okay. These comments are basically they are comments that are very common to the line interfaces, Claude Code and Open Code, and also probably Kilo, and allows these comments allow you to better manage the context. A huge context is a problem. So you really need not to bring on the conversation with your model too long. Okay, start a new conversation, because models are proved by a lot of benchmarks that I didn't link here to degrade in performance while the context is gets large. So you need to either start a new conversation or use these commands to manage the context properly, okay, when you speak to your model. And also, and now we start going into the very the advanced stuff. The using an NCP, it's very token consuming. It means that you are enlarging the context. Then again, you often use. Often it's better in order to save tokens, it's better to use CLI commands, to use tools, external tool, allow the model to use external tools, like probably Nav is using GitHub, using the CLI, not using the MCP. But if you're using the model in a community context, in a team context, you want to use the MCP. It's better to use the MCP than to use the CLI for a variety of reasons. Excellent for connecting databases browser to multiple clients, for example. Okay, if you need to manage your community and you need the community to have access to the same data, it's best to use the NCP, to use an NCP, okay, than to use the CLI, whatever CLI you use. And then, okay, we're going into the advanced stuff, and the advanced stuff is actually the skills, okay? I will not go over all the things that are here because there's lots of stuff, and I think you can manage to check yourself. But the project, the ARC project, is interesting because it's similar in a way to the dump vestige, because it's autonomous. But it's not an AI that survives the human species. So it's an AI that lives with the human species, but behaves. It's not grows its own skills, and this is something that Hermes does automatically. When I first spoke to you about the constraints, I told you to use agents.md and all possible files, configuration files, to minimize the context that you have to pass to your model. And in this case, Hermes does grow its own agents, that its own skills based on the thing that you ask it to do. Okay, so the ARC project is like it's a curator, and it's the idea of this AI objects, and it's creating the garden using some categories that the human species has given it. But slowly over time, it grows categories of its own. Okay, so depending on the object that it has, it grows patterns that are not brought by the human species, but are that it grows while working on the categories that the human species have given it. And so that's what Hermes does in a way, because it learns from what you make it do. Okay. This is the sentence here. Read the answer. It's a personal thing, but it comes from working with agents. Okay, working with coding agents, sometimes you don't. They produce these very big blocks of code, and you cannot. It's not useful to read all the code. It's more useful to read the agent, what it says about the code that it has generated. And if what it says doesn't go in the direction that you want, now said, you can work on the soul.md or agent.md and tell the agent how it needs to behave. Okay, in this way, and I have also an example of a person that is like the founder of T3. I don't know if you guys know him. Right.
Sorry, the founder of what was it?
T3.gg. Yeah, it's Tio. It's called Tio, and this is this person has a YouTube channel, and sometimes I watch what he does, and he really has created personality for his agent. In this way, the agent speaks to him in the right way in order for him to. And he's a good find of Codex, by the way. He uses Codex most of the time. Although he's an investor in cars, Cursor, but he's Codex. This is basically the part of the lesson. The skill.h link is very interesting because it's full of skills and they are ordered by the most used one. So you can find the most useful ones. And also, this multi-agent work, this is the workflow part. And it's very important because most of the time now, in particular, if you check I hope I'm still sharing. Share this tab. Are you seeing the agency agents?
We are, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This you see how many stars this report has? Ridiculous. And this is a repo that basically has built an entire agency.
Would you share this as well in the comments?
Yeah, it's in the lesson.
Okay.
It's the link in the lesson. It's the agency agents link. It's in the workflow paragraph, which is, again, it's not a paragraph that I have gone. I would have preferred to get into it more in depth, because it's very important, because most of the time we have the skills, but orchestrating the skills in all these agents, for example, in the right way, it's not easy. Okay, you need to build a skill. The name of the file is skillsettings.json. It's a JSON file, okay, and it's a workflow basically. So what you can do, it's you can set up your skills that are agents, okay, and in this way your agents will be able to do what is written in your skills, but to orchestrate all those agents, you need a workflow. You need multiple workflow. And for example, this is a JSON example of how to orchestrate some skills. But let me see if I can, because there is another example of workflow, and this is so wrong. Okay, this one, preparing a meeting on Telegram, I really need to check that out. Okay, to give you a JSON that is it's viable, but okay. Let me share the workflow that I have. Just a moment. Because it's on Linux and it needs to start. Okay. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna show you the VS Code interface too. Okay.
We are not able to see your screen, Jilt.
Yeah, just a moment that I open the file. And I'm gonna show you.
Sounds good.
Okay. I am sharing the screen. Entire screen, which is okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So let me just close this stuff. And yeah, this is a workflow. Okay. And what it does, it tells the model how to call each skill of the Solana suite, and it's very well done because as you can see, it's like there is a product review that allows you to evaluate the quality of the product. There is a front-end design guideline skill, and each skill has its own triggers. Okay? And so what is defined by this file is how to launch a skill and also when to use it. So, for example, if I launch a mainnet deployment checklist, it's gonna use some skills, and if I launch create pitch deck, if I say investor presentation in the prompt, it will use the create pitch deck skill, for example. This is a very well done workflow, okay? And it's it's called router because they have, but this is a workflow. As we then Theo from T3.gg it does workflow in other ways, in a linear way. This is not linear, okay? This is just a a bunch of tables with the triggers and the skill that need to be connected with the trigger. But the name is skill router. Okay. But yes, this is the way that a workflow needs to be built. Okay. And yeah, I'm probably finding some more I'm probably creating a new one for preparing a meeting on Telegram, because this is a workflow that is described in the Ironclaw website. So I will probably build this workflow using Ironclaw. Okay. So that we have an example of a linear workflow that you can launch on Ironclaw, that gets launched like 10 minutes before each meeting and gets shared. The output gets shared into a Telegram community. Okay, so in this way, like the whole Telegram community is up to date about what the meeting is about. Okay. And then, okay, there is the panopticon is it's an overview of the ERC 8004 standard on Ethereum, which is like an ethical standard. It's actually one of my favorite projects in this exhibition, because it's the idea of a prison connected through cables for data gathering, and it's the idea of a prison that doesn't keep people inside, and it's a prison that for both human beings and AIs, and it's very similar to the first project from an architectural point of view, because there are rooms, but the rooms are not only for humans, are also for AIs. It's a nice idea, and there are some metaphors that some examples that allow me to know how the standard ERC 8004 works, which is kind of interesting from an ethical point of view, from an ethical approach to AI. And finally, we have come to the asteroid. Okay, but I don't see the second image. No, we need to see the second image. Let me check if in the Italian version there is the second image. Because it's very cool. No, it's not there. Yeah, it's there. Okay, here we are. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna explain. Let me just open the second image in another tab so that I can. Okay. Oh, here it is. The asteroid. Okay. Oh, this is still Italian. Check. I want the English. Okay. The section is not there. Anyways, the asteroid is a project that was built along with an engineer from NASA, an engineer that was IT. And so what they studied is the behavior of the asteroid, and in particular the movement of the asteroid. And if you look at this whole idea, is there is the rock, and there is these buildings. There are these buildings that are hexagonal geometric shapes that are built in the direction of in the opposite way from the way the asteroid moves. In this way, they are safe. This is the most safe position because the asteroid is gonna get collision mostly on the part that is in front of the movement. Okay. And also the hexagonal shape is the most robust position. And yeah, share this tab. Okay. Yeah, it's in Italian. I'm sorry. I'm gonna I'm gonna make it in English and put it in the English page. The idea is of a spider AI. There is an image within the images of this project, but I didn't put it in here. It's a little spider that gets launched by Earth into the asteroid and starts mining it. Okay, that starts creating these tunnels, and inside the robot, which is the spider robot, which is the AI, there are some seeds. There are some seeds, and the AI mines the asteroid, and with the minerals mined and using the seeds, it creates these hexagonal shapes, and inside puts the seeds in order for plants to grow. And so inside these hexagonal shapes, the plants are growing, and the atmosphere is growing. And so, in fact, in this CAD, which is a section of the asteroid, there is the pressurized gallery here, which is the place where you can get into the atmosphere, the living part of the asteroid. So it actually, the AI mines the asteroid for minerals and allows an atmosphere to grow in the tail of the asteroid. Safe from the movement, safe from the collisions, and the atmosphere grows. And so this is actually a place that can be a settlement for human beings. Okay. Yeah, there are some cool ideas that are similarities from starting from how the habitat, the living habitat, is built on the asteroid and connected to the Iron Claw way of tackling the problems of privacy. And it's interesting just to watch, just to see the comparison, because the AI arriving into the asteroid, it's actually the robot, the Arachno robot arriving into the asteroid has already been done by the European Space Agency, like in 2020. It was a robot, it was not an AI as we know it now. So it would be interesting to know how the AI would tackle the problem. And also, yes, there are, it could be done very easily with a 3D video game on a web page, okay, with Cloud Code. It could be interesting to see what happens. Even, collecting open data about asteroids that we already have, and allowing people to build settlements on asteroids using Iron Claw. Okay. And this is just a very, very general idea, but I think it was very inspiring for the people when I did the lesson, because they are engine technicians that work for Ferrari here in Modena, because I live in the little town of Ferrari. So the movement of stuff and building on the movement is something that they do every day. So seeing something like this was very inspiring for them. I think, okay, there's a couple of other things here, like you have the chance to use the free open router model.
Hey, Jill. It's
but it's not with open close. Ah, okay. Can you see that now?
Yeah, now we can see it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, these are the use cases which are meant to inspire you for the idea of the game or of the video. Okay, because you for the challenge for Ironclaw, you need to create a video, not a video game. And so these are like the explanations using the challenges that the AI is tackling in the Android to explain the challenges that Ironclaw is tackling in the privacy problems that using AI as we do it now presents us. And yes, at the end of the page there is this open router free model, which is not connected with OpenClaw, which is why my developer friend was angry at me for this lesson. So it's just a way of allowing you, I mean, if you want to create a 3D video game or a video with this last project from the asteroid, you can do it very easily using this prompt over here. It's not set properly, and I will probably change it with OpenClaw for the lesson if we do the lesson. So it has to be changed to OpenClaw. It definitely has. Okay. I think I'm done. I've been speaking too much.
No, this was fantastic. I love the visuals and like the storyline behind how to explain this to people in a way that's digestible. I think that was genius.
Okay, thank you. This is a very good artist.
So, what would you say the next step is for this whole thing?
I think creating a certification for Ironclaw would be a cool thing, but we need to speak about it in the governance forum, in the near governance forum.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that.
I know that.
Ryan, are you there?
It's big here. Big here.
Yeah, I think
No,
Ryan.
maybe.
What's up?
Yeah.
So, do you remember the discussion we had about creating certificates? Or
Yes.
yeah, so Jilt is proposing that we kind of create certificates based off of her lessons plans. She proposes that we go through the governance forum for it. Would you say that's appropriate, or do you think there's a different way to approach this?
I don't think we would have to do the governance form. I mean, in order to get it credentialed, there's probably be some formalities to go through, at least if we wanted to do it more than like our own credentialed system. But I also think that we have more than enough autonomy to kind of start as like the Legion certification and this proof of concept. And I don't know if governance would be the route forward, but I don't think it's the first route to start. Like I think we can kind of like create that proof of concept and be like, here, this is what this certification looks like in our vision, and continue to gather insights and really be able to formalize that.
Near Legion. Okay. I understand. Okay. I think the lesson needs to be improved in order to be specifically about Ironclaw.
Okay.
So, like, for example, I should build the Telegram workflow specifically for Ironclaw. The last interface to speak with the model should be using the, because Ironclaw is OpenAI compliant endpoint. So I should be using their endpoint, and also the last project. I don't know because what I wanted is I wanted you guys to see the project and to create your video, okay, for the challenge now.
So you want us to do that how the site is currently set up, or post Ironclaw configuration?
It was like an inspiration, just sharing inspiration. But if I would probably need to think about how to shape the last project, the asteroid project, better explain what are the features of Ironclaw, and probably I should create the video game and allow people to get the certificate in a gamified fashion.
Okay, I think.
You think?
Sorry, Jill. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I want to know what you think.
Oh, so well, obviously, first and foremost would be coordination. Nuv also had this idea of a certificate program, so it could be useful to start with, Rhyme, myself, Nuv, and you, just to kind of understand how to build this out in a way that works for you, and then also covers all our bases with what is needed from the Ironclaw end of things. And I would assume that this will take some time. So, what do you think about using these live streams as a way of like kind of exposing and testing out the way this certificate kind of platform is created? So almost in a similar fashion to how we're building out the mortgage lead application, you can also use this session to kind of show how it's being developed, like these consecutive sessions.
I think that Nav, I think we should meet. I think we should meet in the middle of the week to coordinate ourselves, and then we can have a proof concept on Saturday during the meetings.
Yeah, we can definitely do that, and immediate Saturday, or we can come up with a plan that this is how we are going to proceed. I have some of the thoughts that I'm working on, and happy to see that what you're thinking from the asteroids project or any other idea that you have.
Yeah, exactly. Because maybe you didn't explain what you're working on now, but maybe if we meet in private, we can merge the two works in a more fast way, and then on Saturday we can explain the proof of concept. And
let's talk. We can come up with some plan going forward.
Okay, well, can I ask you what's your name on Telegram?
My name is now. Let me share you. I have your Telegram, so I'll ping you there.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Is it valuable if I set up a group chat, or do you guys want to communicate?
Yeah, you can. I think that would be great help. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, I think that's a plan. I'll dedicate some of the next session to the second phase of the mortgage lead qualification build out, and we'll also speak about the proof of concept across the certification, the to be developed certification program. Yeah, I think that's about it for this session. Thank you everyone who joined. Appreciate it whenever people join on a Saturday morning, or whatever time it is. I'm not sure what time it is in Italy, but I'm sure it's still Saturday, maybe midday. You could have been
Yeah, it's
outside hanging
aperitif
out
time.
here.
I'm gonna have a beer with my friends now.
Okay, fantastic. That's good.
Okay. You guys
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah,
your
perfect.
weekend.
Thank you so
Okay?
much. Yeah,
Good
thank
night.
you everyone
Thanks to you.
for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Abhiraj from India, from Vivek, Jill, and everyone. We'll talk next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.